My name's Dennis Moriarty and I'm the Group Managing Director of Our Community. There's no need to mention VIPs because everyone here is a VIP. You're all very lucky and very special. Before we start, I'd like to recognise the traditional owners of the land on which we're meeting and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I'd also like to welcome our Chair, Carol Schwartz, and a special welcome to Peter Shergold. Tonight we are here to launch an amazing new enterprise, and Carol and Peter will talk a little about that. I don't want to steal their thunder other than to say it's been 15 years in the making and it's now number 8 in the enterprises built by our community. When I worked for Joan Kirner, she would often say one of the great mistakes made is that we never learn or talk about history, and we make the same mistakes over and over again, and we never learn the ingredients of success. So I thought tonight I'd like to seek your indulgence and talk a little about history, as without the characters I'm about to mention, there would be no Our Community, and the community sector and the 600,000 community organisations that it represents would be the poorer. It's not a long story, but it's quite a rich and powerful story for me. To start with, I'd like to reflect on an advertisement Steve Jobs commissioned for Apple. Let's listen.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Think different. I'm not exactly calling my chair Carol Schwartz and fellow board member Simon Longstaff crazy or troublemakers, but I am calling them for what they continuously, passionately, and for over 30 years and 20 years respectively have shared with me. And I also know with so many other people. Their genius, their generosity, their capacity to change the world and to also think differently, and to be a handful of the real change agents in supporting people, ventures and new thinking. They are the greatest of Australians. This nation needs more nation builders, no more greater than now. And many people, including our community, and many here tonight, are helping build a stronger social sector and hopefully a stronger, bolder and fairer nation. But just because you want to do something or help to push forward an agenda, or you have a great team, as we do at our community, it doesn't always translate to actually doing it successfully. 15 years ago, when our community started, there were no social investors in Australia. There was certainly no one willing to back a bloody risky investment startup like our community. I know that as we shopped our business plan and model to all and sundry, big banks, small banks, philanthropists, etc., etc. Carol was the sole person and pioneer who backed it. In fact, she was messianic in championing the venture. Nothing like this had been done before, but she and Alan, her husband, had supported us financially and enticed others to see the vision. I know Richard Reid is here tonight, so thank you to Richard Reid. You also backed us. So that gave us the money and the capacity to start. But we also wanted a new way of how our organisation was governed. We wanted a female chair. That was novel then, still is novel now. We wanted an Indigenous leader on our board. We managed to get Mick Dodson. And to bring the new model into being, we also wanted a philosopher and an ethicist to challenge our thinking and to change our core. Enter Dr. Simon Longstaff, who has been with us for the 15-year journey. I first met Simon 20 years ago when I was one of 15 Australians lucky enough to be selected to do the 18-month Vincent Fairfax Ethics Award. Simon was the CEO of the St James Ethics Centre, and Simon would teach us his infamous catchphrase, "What ought I do?" And that translated to our own lives. It was an amazing experience and one that I credit for starting our community and starting the social enterprise. They are the people that have governed us, have inspired us, have had firm words with me occasionally, and have given us the freedom and wisdom to build stronger communities. But most of all, harking back to Steve Jobs, they are the visionaries, the ones that think differently and continue to inspire a generation of new people to do the same. We are now simply the old kids on the block. In closing, I also wanted to challenge one of the other stereotypes and to say thanks. They often say, and rightfully so, behind every good man is a great woman. Well, our community often likes to challenge the traditions. And for me, I'd like to pay tribute to the man who has stood by me through the last 18 years, my partner, Brendan Shanahan. He has also had to think differently as he's had to live with me, starting through the trials and continuing our community. I say a big heartfelt thanks. And to all the staff of our community, both past and present, and it's great to see Brian Walsh here tonight. It's an extraordinary team, and I know the Institute of Community Directors under Patrick will be another amazing journey. Thanks for listening to my little history story. I'd now like to ask Carol Schwartz to come up. Thank you.